Greetings, International High School. I'm Davon Barbour, President and CEO of the Downtown Development District, or actually, I should say, bonjour tout le monde. I hope that you are doing fantastic today. I'm excited to talk to you a little bit today about my love and passion for French culture and the language. It's a pretty exciting week in the country and in downtown New Orleans. First of all, it's World Cup week, and so I've got my French jersey here on, as you can see. Allez les Bleus! I'm cheering for our team. We're going to go all the way, and so it's pretty exciting. It's also exciting because we have French President Emmanuel Macron visiting the United States, and of course visiting our very great city of New Orleans. So very great all around when it comes to French culture and language. I love French language. I love French culture. I actually started learning French in middle school. That's where I first was introduced to the language, and I fell in love with it. I continued learning French in high school. I actually attended l'École des Beaux-Arts de Baltimore, or Baltimore School for the Arts, in my hometown of Baltimore, Maryland. It was there where the French language and culture really connected with me. I had an incredible teacher, Monsieur Michael Tabania, who really connected the language with the culture of the world. I had a very vigorous French program. Each week we would study, have an exam for literature, for grammar, and then the following week we'd have an exam focused on vocabulary. So there was no escaping. We had to study every single week, but I loved the language. We also, studied French TV and commercials. That was one thing that was so exciting because, while reading in the books, we were able to connect the language to everyday culture. And so I remember my French teacher playing, music, classical French music, pop music. In fact, one of my favorite French musicians, a Senegalese-born rapper, MC Solar. I loved playing his music, and that's how I got to practice my French. And that was just something that we did every single day, really studying the language and the culture of France. I also, had the opportunity to fall in love with French food and French cuisine under the guise of my persona, Bernard. All of us in high school, we had the chance to pick our own French name, and so that was kind of cool, again, impersonating being someone of French culture, really fully immersing ourselves in the culture. And so we got to eat French foods, baguettes and croissants, and when it was holiday time, we got to have the very famous cultural dessert, bûche de Noël. I know that I'm certainly looking forward to taking part in a bûche de Noël, a chocolate, great French dessert. So French culture, it's just amazing, it's cool. I hope that each of you continues learning the language and immersing yourselves. I think it's so important for us as Americans to look at other cultures, to learn different languages. It teaches us humanity, it teaches us to have a global perspective, to learn how other people see views and have a different perspective. And so I intend to continue learning languages all the time. I should mention as well that I decided to continue my French studies into college. I was actually a French minor, and there I even dug deeper into the French language and culture, studying literature, French business, French film and cinema. That was so cool being introduced to so many films and movies, and that again just enriched my life and helped me understand the culture even better. It was while in college, I had the opportunity to also live in a language dorm. And so in this particular dormitory, residents had the opportunity to live on the floor if you spoke a language. French, Spanish, Russian, and so of course I lived on the French floor. No English was allowed, and so it was a great way for us to practice learning. I made great friends, again, learning French music and culture. It was just such an exciting way to continue to learn the culture. So if you have the opportunity to continue studying French, to live in a French dormitory, I encourage you to do it. I could go on and on about why I love the French culture, but I think all of you as French Club members, you're finding probably the same joy that I'm finding. It's just such a great experience, the food, the culture, the music, and I don't think I'll ever fall out of love with France and French culture. I encourage you to take part, to do all that you can to study the language. There will be so many opportunities for you to apply what you learn in the classroom and take part in real world life experiences. I'll just give you one example. I lived in the city of Miami for a number of years, where there's a very large French expat community. A lot of French businesses there. There's also a French consulate office there. While living there, I had the opportunity to become friends with many of the staff, many of the natives that lived in Miami for a while. And so while I had not been speaking French for a number of years in my hometown of Baltimore, when I arrived in Miami, all of a sudden I was thrown back into speaking French. And so I was a little rusty at first, but I just kept at it, kept practicing, going to different French cultural events, and it was just so cool to be able to speak French every single day. I also got to experience, the influence of French culture in other regions around the world. Within Miami, there's a large Haitian community. In case you didn't know it, Haiti was once a French colony, and so many immigrants migrated to the United States, opened businesses, raised families in the city of Miami, and so I got to partake in that as well. So I guess overall what I want to share with you is that if you can't tell already, I love France. I love France. I've had dreams of living in Paris. I encourage you to seek opportunities to go abroad. I certainly know that my first trip to Paris was mind-blowing. Being able to walk down the streets and listen to the music, walking down every single block was a discovery. And so hopefully you can take part in France. It's a big opportunity, and I want to thank you for allowing me to share my story and why I love French language and culture so much. And I can't leave without, again, encouraging you. We got to support our team. Allez les Bleus! Go France!